We're going to talk about the Agility web product and also work on some dashboarding. How do I get that review? Reading. They always say that they save the best for last. No, but I'm close to the last. Last day. Michael, you're not sitting up front. Jeff, you're not sitting up front. This will be like Disney, you know, where they spray you with water and make it smell like the jungle. We went to Epcot. Did anybody do soaring at Epcot before? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? You get in this little like hammock, like there must have been 20 people, and they kind of lift you up and over like an IMAX screen, and they blow air on you, and then you go over waterfalls, and then they make it smell like the ocean, and the jungle they make it smell like grasslands. It was fantastic. All right. And if you're here, you should be using Macola because this doesn't exist for B1. Is that true, Aaron? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. What's that? All right. You can't hear me or not? You're good. We can hear you. Okay. So in this class, we're going to cover the Agility Explorer on the desktop a little bit, and then we're going to do something with the Agility web product. And we're also going to look at the dashboards, and then I'm going to do something super simple and show you how you can create something and then publish it without a lick of HTML. So if you've been a customer or one of our partners, you've probably had some experience with the Agility on the desktop. And so we're going to look at that a little bit. And then this is the Agility web product. And there are some differences between these products, but by and large they're grids and you can do stuff with them. You can transact just like you can on the desktop. If you are a Macola customer and you love Macola 10 and you're sold on the browser capability and you want to plug in like a web component with a web component, wouldn't that make sense? Browser stuff, inside browser stuff. So you can publish this and that's pretty simple to do. And on the desktop, Agility Explorer on the desktop, this is what you're looking at here, with the tabs across the top. I have this usually pop up because a lot of people don't know analytics are built into Agility on the desktop. There's some standard analytics. This is one of the standard ones. This is what we call OE order status management. And I like to think of this graph as managed to 0. So if you were to, I don't know if the pointer works. Yeah. So these are the stages of your orders. And this one here are orders that are out for picking. This long one right here is out for picking. And so during the day, imagine if you had people looking at a graphic, you'd want to see those pick tickets going from status 4 to status 7 and 8 and 9 and invoiced. So and these graphs will refresh automatically if you want them to. On the other hand, if you use a browser, you can have something very similar to that, and it's the same idea, managed to 0. If you touch one of these graphs right here, if you had a touchscreen monitor or click it with your mouse, the data down below reflects what you touched. So if you want to see all the orders that are out for picking, you can see them right there. So let's talk about the business case for using this type of product, the Web Explorer. I like to think of it as zero client setup. So you know, Len, when you have your Ativo Cloud customers and we have a new update and you have to publish that to all the devices, you know, what if there was just one thing you had to do? Pretty easier, wouldn't it? And your team would think this is great. Because it's easy to set up a browser, everybody's got one, you just point it at the web address and you get a refresh. We have a number of customers that have remote warehouses. I'm thinking of one in West Virginia. They have a big production center, but they have an overstock warehouse. It's a lights out warehouse. And sometimes when they get a delivery, they deliver to that warehouse and somebody has to go over there, and they literally can take their cell phone or a tablet or maybe their PC over there with a cellular connection and be able to hit an agility grid and do a receipt in that remote warehouse. Now they're not going to go to the expense of putting Wi-Fi in that warehouse because it's a lights out warehouse. It's usually overstock. But sometimes they have to have purchase orders delivered there because they don't have room for it. Those of you that have been in warehouses, many times there's a problem with space, right? You see stuff even stacked in the aisles. And those people that have a remote warehouse can easily do a transaction with a browser. Another case might be an employee that's working from home. And maybe they're customer service, maybe they're sales, maybe there's just somebody on maternity leave, whatever, they're doing something at home, and they need an easy way to do their transactions in Macola, so remote employees. There's two other components we created really just for demonstration. One is called the Customer Gateway. So imagine you have 100 customers and 10 of them just call you all the time. They want to know what's going on with their orders. So you can set up a gateway for that customer to use a browser remotely and have access to just what you want them to see. So when I show you the customer gateway or the vendor gateway, it basically is one customer, one grid. They can't see other customers' stuff. They can't hack it to get in. You put in some SQL data so that they know that that's that right person. You give them a password and they can log in. And a lot of times customers have what? Rep organizations. And they are calling to know, is this order going to ship? You know, what did I make on this order? That kind of thing. So these people, you may not want to get them a whole setup on their laptop with an agility client and have to deal with that. Just give them a browser. And of course, browsers on the right-hand side of the screen here, bring your own device. So whether you're using your PC with a browser, Android, or Apple products, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, can I use my Apple product to do a transaction? Well, you can't do a barcode scanning transaction, but you can definitely do something on the browser. And I just have a screenshot here of me using my mobile phone. I have an Android phone, and you can see I just have some components here on the screen that I'm going to work with. So here's a picture of the gateway, the customer gateway. And if you look right in the middle, this is customer 901. That's it. This is the only thing that this browser is going to look at because the SQL won't let them get in and look at anything else. And that's really secure. Now, if you're going to expose your browser to the internet, you're going to need something for security so that people can mess around with it. I can tell you myself that as a rookie IT guy, I was sitting at my desk one morning on Saturday prepping for a demo, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could have a customer during the demo hit my laptop? So I created a password for, Joe, password temp, and literally within 4 minutes, my entire laptop was ransomwared. That fast. I didn't even know what happened. All I knew, it was getting slow. So, if you're going to open your network up, make sure you got some security. And these, in this example here, the PO gateway, you can see some things that are in bold. Those things that are in bold are designed for you to do input. These are just user-defined fields. And so I thought to myself, okay, I'm a supplier to somebody in the United States, and I have a gateway for them over in China or wherever. Rather than, get their Excel file out and tell me exactly what's going to ship and change the dates and then fax it to me or email it or whatever people do, what if they could just bring up a grid? And in this example here, up at the top there, it says the date, the promise date. Okay, I'm in China. I'm promising I'm going to ship this product. I'm going to confirm it with a yes or a no, which is just a drop-down selection. And then a vendor comment, sorry. So you can put whatever you want in there. But that's all they really needed from a remote standpoint. You could put in your letter of credit number, you could put in your container number, you can put in all kinds of stuff that you can think up. So there are some differences. And, I talked to Brennan over at Harvest, and he really likes the product, but it doesn't have something that he likes, so he's frustrated. So the components here, this is the web components, and these are the components in the Agility Design Studio for the desktop. And there's a lot of similar ones. There's at the top, you can see I can create a grid, a dialogue, a graph, a process grid, and then analytics on the right. And then on the other side, there's a pivot table grid. Well, I love pivot tables, but they don't have them in the Agility on the web. So he was frustrated about that. And then the other thing, if you've used a Wisys grid, at the top you might have orders, and down below you have lines. There's no two grids there for you to mess with. So you have to think of the business case that makes sense, and sometimes you love one thing and you just got to use it where it is. Now, if we get enough feedback, maybe I can twist some developers to finally do something. But the whole idea of where we're moving to, this new platform that Don referred to as Cabin 7, is going to be a merger of products. So they'll probably put it in there. But you still have lots of things you can do, SQL scripts and stored procedures. The Outlook plugin right here at the bottom, that was really great when it existed. But the plugin is for the classic Outlook. And I don't know anybody that's using classic Outlook anymore. So that was a plugin you could just stick inside your browser or inside your desktop. Any questions on components? Is anybody here using the analytics stuff at all? The grids in the web? Anybody tried that? You've tried it? Not in the web. Okay. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, it was like I was just complaining about it.
What's that?
It was me complaining about it.
It's not a complaint. What is a complaint? A complaint is a request. It's a, what's a request called now? A question is a, no, in the AI world, what do you call that? A prompt, yeah. You're prompting me for something. I don't take it personal. All right, when you create, now we're going to do some fun stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and show you, but when you create a project, there's a checkbox there. So things that go into a web project are in a separate project. And when you create the project, everything that goes into that project is going to be a web component. And if you don't check that box, it's going to be a client-server component. Over here, across the top, I've sort of cut and pasted some screens together, so it doesn't really look like this, but these across the top here are the components that you can put inside of an analytic. And they're pretty comprehensive. So anybody that's using Tableau or Microsoft Business, Business BI type stuff, I think you can find pretty similar capabilities here. And over here, you've got your basic SQL statement that you're going to work on. Time to create. So I have a 10-user license of Agility on the web on my computer. So how many people have their cell phone with them? Everybody, right? So if you were to join my, go to that and you're just log into my router, go ahead and try that if you like. 10 people can do it. The 11th person won't be able to get in, I hope. So you should find my little router. That's the password, 8 zeros. And then you'd want to launch that IP address. Anybody need tech support? And when you get there, you're going to see something like that. And so you would try and log in as Tom, and password is T0M. How's it go? Anybody get there? You what?
I lost your Wi-Fi. I had it. I logged into the ASUS.
Okay. You logged in. It takes a second to get there, so just be patient. Len, you finding your way?
Almost there.
Okay.
Is there a delete all function?
I can't hear you.
Can I delete all?
You could try. Heather, you make it?
No.
What happened?
User error.
User error?
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
All right.
Between the chair and the keyboard.
I admit it.
Go back one more time.
Pardon?
You need to go back one more. You need the password.
Oh, okay.
Password screen. Macola guy's in. He's in.
So I have everything, and you're going to have a subset of what I have. So just like Agility Explorer, on the left-hand side, you have some folders. And those folders will expose different things based on your user rights or a role. So let's go down here, and I'm going to open up Form Studio. How many people were able to get in? 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30.
If the sales guy can get in, that means
Did you get in? Okay. Did you get an error? Yeah, you should have two things. Yeah.
You had a whole bunch.
I do. I'm the boss.
Geez, Len, we're gonna limit to what you can do.
All right. All right, so I've got the Visual Form Studio here open. And I don't want that. I want Agility Designer. And so I've created a project. You see that little checkbox there? That tells everything that's going to be in this project is going to be a web component. So I'm going to go up here to the top of the screen and say Create New Component, Web, Grid, and I'll type in Orlando Grid. And off I go. So I'm going to go Next, and I'm going to go here to Show Tables. And I'm going to go into here to Macola tables. And I'm going to be really good with my SQL. INVLOC. IM. And I'm going to use the SQL view. Those of you, Wisys has views, WVs. Those WV views are standardized between progression and ES and Macola 10. So if you're on progression and you develop with a view, and someday you update, those developments should just go right over. All right, so I'm going to click on a couple of fields. Quantity on hand, status, quantity on order. That's good enough. And you see here, it pops up this thing. It says one of these fields I need to pick as a key. And so I'll just pick location. I can pick item and apply that, and good. So once you create a component, you can then put it somewhere. So now it's on the menu. But you've logged in as Tom. And so what I need to do now is open up the Agility on the desktop. And we're going to do a little security to make sure Tom can get what he wants. I'm going to go into File, Options, User Access, there's Tom. And I go over to the Web Components, and you can see the two that are on your screen already are checkboxed, but down below, my Orlando grid is not checked. So I'm going to check it. So just doing that, all you need to do is refresh your browser screen, and you should have access to it. And I think you can just, like on an Android, you can swipe down, that kind of thing, or back and forward. Let me know if it shows up. Got it? Anybody else? And did it open? So those of you that are really fancy SQL people, you can get the idea that you could paste in a really complicated SQL script and get some information. So I'm trying to log in here as Tom. How many, raise your hand again. I'm hoping that are there 10 people in the room using this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Heather, did you make it or not?
Nope.
Gave up?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I have a 10-user license, so when we create a user in the system, it looks at the machine name, the user, and the session ID. So even if, like sometimes people in the shop create a shop user, if you have a 5-user license, it'll let you get to 5 with the same name, but as soon as you get, shop to number 6, it's going to say, call Bob. I hope. It should. I keep bugging them. Does it do that? I don't know. So that's an easy one. So let's go back again. And let's go to Design Studio. And I'm going to create another component. This time I'm going to do a pie chart with analytics. Now this time, rather than put in a bunch of SQL, up at the top of the screen you can see it says Dashboard Design. And now I have all these things that I can do. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a query. And run Query Builder. And I'm going to type in IMINVLOC. And this time I just want one field. And now I'll go back to Home and I'll say Pie Chart. And I'm just going to drag this up here to Value. There's my pie. And my argument is Locations. So I'm going to say OK. And I go back over here again and follow the bouncing ball. And I go to Tom. Oh, I have to put it on the menu first, sorry. So there's my pie chart, and I'm going to drag it right over here. All right, refresh your screen. I have no idea what's happening to my PC, but when you have all these people logging into your laptop, and then you get this. And I don't know why. This happened to me yesterday, and I got really frustrated. So I got a backup here. User access, Tom. And so what I did yesterday was, where was I? Okay, think fast, Bob. Don't lose the audience. So I created Pi 1, which worked yesterday, too. And Pi 1 is there. All right, refresh again. Did you get Pi 1? Please work. Comes up? All right. So, you guys have been interacting with me a little bit as we've gone. And so that's what we did. We created something and we delivered it to the customer. And any other questions? Mr. Len.
On the order side, is this all set to just give to customers to enter customer orders?
Could you enter a customer order?
Yeah.
Well, the object is there, the OE object, so if you mess around with that, you could. The question, you'd have to try it, because the question is, can you do multi-record adding? I think you could. Don, do you hear the question? Can I do order entry remotely? Could you have add 1 and then add 2 and then add 3? One at a time? What does Jim think in the back? I know he's pushing buttons to make you hear me.
Yeah, it's
Is fluid? So if you went back to the customer gateway, you would see their sales order with all the line items on it. And I suppose you could open it up for input if you wanted to let them change a quantity, but that may come with some problems. Not technical problems, but just letting a customer mess around with an order that's you're already in production on or something. Think it through, right? Get your team to start pushing buttons and see what they can come up with. If you're a customer of Wisys today and you want to use this product, I'm going to give you 2 users of the web product for free so that you can try it. And if it adds value to you, then you can buy more. The individual licenses are 5 packs for $3,000, so that's $600 a user. If you have 100 sales reps, call me. We'll kind of create a deal for you, or talk to Michael. We'll find a deal. But we can't do it like for $5 a month or something. That wouldn't be enough. So, but I think it's possible to really automate some people in the field. Len.
So what about the pricing for your vendors and customers? Is that?
The same thing.
Oh, those are users as well. Okay.
Well, everything that I had on my screen over here. Not there. These are out-of-the-box components that we've already created. And some of them, like mobile, when you see the word mobile, that's supposed to be for your phone. You click on it. Oh, it just has one item up here at the top. Let me go back. That's a good one, huh?
Well, it's designed to be on your phone. It's just designed to show you like the open orders for that one particular item. By clicking on the item number, you got rid of the data for free.
Which one is it, Don?
Well, the one that you were on was just, it's designed for your phone so that it looks good. It's just got a few fields on it and it looks good on your phone, and it's so that you can see all the open orders for a particular item. And when he wiped out the item number, it took away the data, so there was nothing to show.
So there's your phone.
Yeah, there you go.
And then, so this is order 133. Now, I don't have Synergy loaded on my computer, so when I click on these things, I'm not sure how much it'll drill down.
What does synergy have to do with it?
I can't hear you. Is that thing on? Tap it. Yeah.
What does synergy have to do with? What does synergy have to do with it?
Well, the Synergy, when we open a component as a browser component, you can have hyperlinks on these things that will go in and look at a Synergy form. So you can actually pull up more detail.
Oh, so you called the synergy form to give you the detail you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to find one. I didn't practice this. Just trying to find something. So some of these things can be hyperlinked. And then you could like pull up that order and look at the Synergy form for like a sales order, something like that.
Yeah, this particular form here is designed to like do an inventory transfer from your. The form that Bob just had open was designed to do inventory transfers from your phone. So.
So now I'm drilling down a little more. So depending, what your data's like and what you drill down on, it'll give you more information. I don't know much about this particular item. Anyway, thank you for attending. I hope you learned something. I hope you want to try something. And if you want 2 users for free, Len, how many customers do you have? Mike, how many customers do you have? Tons. So, and the other Mike, you have lots of Macola customers, don't you? So it's a nice way to get something on their site, give them something back, a little something for free. Camco, Mike, I talked to Terry the other day. She was interested in doing something like this. I gave her 2 users. She thought I was like an angel. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you very much.